Google is planning a privacy change similar to Apple's change that wiped $230 billion off of Facebook's market cap. That's what we're going to talk about in this video, along with some other market news, so stick around. Welcome back to TipRanks. I'm Richard Allen. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. Before we get on with the video, today is the last day to take advantage of our Valentine's Day special. Because we love you, 30% off for premium. There's a link in the description, so take advantage of that. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. That's right, guys. Google is planning a privacy change similar to Apple's that caused Facebook to trade like a cryptocurrency after their earnings, saying, look, this new change from Apple is going to cause $10 billion in revenue loss for Facebook. This is scary, scary stuff. So Facebook and Snapchat, two of the main platforms that really rely on this ad tracking software, are down today. So we're going to look at the numbers there after Facebook has really been beat to death almost this year. We're going to talk about these two stocks and see where the analysts lie, but I expect some new price targets. We're going to talk about exactly what Google is changing and over what time frame. It looks like they're being a little more lenient than Apple, but I want to caution you guys on one thing. Google share versus Apple share, so Android versus iOS. Android has a 70% market share worldwide. This is a big deal for companies like Facebook and Snapchat that rely on this ad tracking software to make money. Let's get into exactly what the changes are from Google. Google announced it's adopting a new privacy restriction that will cut tracking across apps on its Android devices. The Alphabet-owned company said it is developing new privacy-focused replacements for its advertising ID, a unique string of characters that identifies the user's device. This is following a similar move made by Apple last year that seemingly upended advertising practices. For some context, Meta did fight back on these Apple changes. They were upset about it. But here's a statement from the president of product marketing, ads, and business at Facebook. Here's what he said on Twitter. Encouraging to see this long-term collaborative approach to privacy, protective, personalized advertising from Google. We look forward to continued work with them and the industry on privacy-enhancing tech through industry groups. I'm of two minds about this statement, and I'll tell you why in a second. So either Meta isn't super concerned about this change because of time frame, which I'll tell you in a second, or they're just trying to pander a little bit to kind of deflect because, again, Android is 70% of the market. This could be really bad for them long term, way more devastating than the $10 billion loss that they've incurred from Apple changing its privacy policy. Google is going to keep the same identifiers in place for the next 2 years to allow advertisers time to change over and adapt. So that's the big difference between what Apple did. Apple's like, no, we're doing it right now. And what Google is doing with Android, they're giving developers and advertisers 2 years to make these changes. So let's check how Facebook is doing today. Meta Platforms, ticker symbol FB, down almost 3% on the day on this news. But this is a moderate buy based on 44 ratings with an average upside of 54% over the next 12 months. Snapchat, even down more, down 4%. But again, they are up drastically over the last several weeks. This is a moderate buy as well, 29 ratings with an average upside of 36% here for Snap. Now, Google is down on this news as well, slightly, but they're actually up compared to the major indices, so I don't think this news is affecting them that much. Google, obviously a strong buy, great company, 31 ratings with an average upside of right around 30% for Google. What do you guys think about this deal? What do you guys think about this change? Are you as pessimistic as I am? I think it's a bigger deal than Facebook is making it right now. I think Mark Zuckerberg and his MetaMates are furious. I think they're really mad. And that's why Mark Zuckerberg is making his employees turn into MetaMates instead of Facebookers. I think that's a hilarious change. But let's take a peek at how the major indices are doing right now. The S&P 500 starting to recover, but still down 0.5%. Dow Jones similar, down 0.6%, and the NASDAQ is actually down 1%. But all the major indices are starting to recover right now. The last thing I want to cover before we finish up is retail sales. We have new numbers today, and retail sales in January, we're up 3.8%. It's almost double the expected 2.1%. And this was led by parts dealers for automobiles, people fixing their cars instead of buying new ones or used ones because they're so expensive right now. And this was also led by furniture being up like crazy and online sales being up almost 15%. So some crazy numbers out of retail sales, but that is really a good thing. There's a strong consumer right now, but it's kind of a double-edged sword because the more people buy things, the higher prices get because of supply constraints and inflation and things like that. So yes, consumer demand is a good thing, but more demand, less supply equals more inflation. So kind of not a fantastic number to see right now, especially when we're talking about rate hikes and things like that. But I still think we're going to see a 0.25% rate hike in March. But January FOMC minutes are coming today at, I believe, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if it's big news, like crazy, scary news, I may give you guys another breaking news video later today, but I will likely report on it tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining me for another video. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Remember, take advantage of the Because We Love You Valentine's Day 30% off deal for TipRanks Premium. I would love to see you guys get more data and more knowledge in the market. And as always, if you learned something new or found any value in this video at all, let me know by hitting that like button and that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you in the next one.